Alright, we're on. I believe. I believe it's on. Alright. 43 degrees, high of 75. Clear skies. It's my pilot speech as the plane is flying by. That's nice. I started to do this yesterday, but I just went by myself for once. Because it was the middle of the day, and that's when everybody goes live at the same time. So it's just, okay. Don't need 48 messages. Oh, such and such is live. Okay, well then, go watch such and such, I suppose. You know, I ain't doing nothing but walking. A lot more greenery. Life has come back. You know, I have Earl Grey now. It's fantastic. I have it's a lemon ginger that Jen bought me actually. And I love it. Like that's one that I'm going to keep in the house. Like that's one that I don't want to be without. Because I have two lemon gingers, lemon ginger tea, and one of them is good, and then the other one's better though. Because the other one's like a probiotic, and it just has a flavor like it doesn't need anything. It's got a great flavor. You make it. You don't need tea, honey, cream, sugar, nothing. It's just, it's ready to go. You're set to go. You know, I was having this conversation, I think with Becca and Jen, about pots of coffee. But I've never in my whole life been able to drink a whole pot of coffee. I can drink a whole jug of orange juice, but I can't drink a whole pot of coffee. And mind you, I drink decaf coffee. But I just never, I can't drink a whole pot of coffee. That's just, it sounds so, it's something I can't do. Because I get one cup. That's literally all I make. And that's it. That's all I want. The noise truck's coming. And now, mind you, that stinks. It's a garbage truck. And mind you, we technically waste a lot of coffee in our house. But, you know, since we're the one buying it, who cares? Because we make pretty much one cup. My brother makes one cup too. We've never made a pot, but yet we use a lot of coffee at the same time. Like this 2 scoops business, I've never done that. I don't know how you even drink 2 scoops of coffee. At that point, it's just like dark water. That's not even coffee anymore. Well, here I am doubly. And we like pour. I've never measured coffee. It's just pour it in there. That looks right. It always is. If I can't do nothing else, I can make coffee. I can't cook. I can make coffee. And that's the one thing my brother can't make. So it's so interesting. Like his is hit and miss. Either he'll make it really good or he'll make it really bad. But he drinks full caffeinated coffee. Decaf ain't got enough life for him, so I can't see the screen. There it is. Good morning. But I've never been able to drink a whole pot of coffee. I can drink a whole pot of tea, just not coffee. I wonder why. It's a little more dense though, too. Because once I get that first or the only cup, like I'm good. And it's decaf. So it's not like I'm wired or anything. Yet at the same time. Because I have that thing, and I kind of understand it now. It's a little craving in your brain. Now mine is not a addiction to the point to where I have to have it, but I can see now why a person needs a cigarette after they eat or something sweet after they eat or something like that. Like after I eat, I crave a cup of coffee. Like that's my finisher. It's like that's the thing I crave. Now, I don't always do it because, you don't always want it, but I can see how that happens now. Yeah, it is. I mean, tea is more warm water for me because it's a little dense or a little lighter than the coffee, which is a little more dense to me. Oh, I like the. I was gonna do some more of the just for fun readings for next month, but I don't have any ideas. I actually need to put up a community post about what kind of readings to do in collaboration because I wanted to do like another energy reading, but I want to see if Sienna will come do it this time too, since that's what her channel is more focused on now. It's something outside of the dirt of politics, so it'd be nice. And then see if I can get Dana from US Tarot to do another live stream with me too. Then of course we'll get Adrian and Tony too. So I just needed some topics. So I'll deal with that later. I've actually been working on my procrastination skills. That's what I've been working on. Now, in that energy reading we did the other night with Adrian and Tony, I pulled cards and they told me, even though it was for somebody else, that I need to complete something, right? Like go through with your project. Do it or don't do it. But don't keep circling the same idea. And so I'm like, okay, that's what I'll do. But good old, I can't say all Geminis do this, because they don't. This one does, to where I'll start something and never ever finish it. Like never. And what eventually happens is I'll have an idea written down and then I'll throw it away because I'm never going to go back to it. I'm never going to finish it or whatever the case. And so the other night, there you go. I can kind of see. The other night, Jen brought up in a discussion we was having about automatic writing. Basically, that's where your angels and guides are going to give you a message, but you put your hand, you put your pen in your hand, put it on paper, and then just move it. You do up and down, circles, whatever it is. And you'll see if the message makes any sense. Because most of the time, of course, when you're just writing in loops, it's going to look like gibberish. So I'm like, okay. And we were showing Becca what automatic writing looks like. And I did one just as an example. And and then I look at it again because it usually just looks like gibberish to me. But I look at it this time and I'm like, I see. It says efforts to manifest. That's what it's spelled out. And I instantly got it because it was a message for me. So when it makes sense, it'll make total sense. Or at least for me. And so what I do is I have a spot in the house. This is what we were talking about with the rituals thing. To where you don't need an altar. But if you have a spot in your house where you dedicate to communing with spirits and everything else, then that's your altar. And then somebody bought me an altar. But I have this altar and I do my prayer at that. And it's not just prayer like, God watch out for our troops and, that type of stuff. No, this is something where I go to literally manifest something. So it was telling me to manifest your determination or manifest your will, your drive. You can ask for everything else. Ask for that too. That way, you actually complete something. And so, that's what I did. And I've been trying to make an oracle deck. And so Adrian texted me and said, when is this Oracle deck coming? And I'm like, well, probably 2027. LOL. But in reality, it's like I have no drive to complete it. I have no determination to complete it. It's not on the to-do list, even though it technically is. And like I say, I can always start something, but finishing it is a whole different thing. So a while ago, I wrote out the words for the Oracle deck that I wanted to make. And that's as far as I got. I had 99 words, literally 99 words, and I needed to shrink it down to 30, which is not hard to do because the way I was doing it was I was choosing one word and then it'll come with keywords. So you can have 4 words on one card. So it still works out to where I can use a majority of those words. I just needed to narrow them down. Because, like for instance, I have one word joy, one word happiness. You don't need both, for they are similar enough to mean the same thing. So you just use one. So that's what I needed to do, was just narrow all that down. And so I did. I did that yesterday. I kind of got a template started because, again, I manifest determination. So it is coming alive. And so I got started. So whenever I finish it, I'll show you. But now what I need to do is find a program that I can create them. Some sort of Photoshop type thing to where I can make the cards. And I want a printer to do it myself. I don't know even what kind of printer to get, but I did look it up at one point. So at least I know it exists, that you can buy just from a regular store. Like where you can print out something on cardstock. So that's what I want to try to do. I just need to now find the software and the printer. The printer is not priority because I can always take it to somebody else. But the software kind of is, or at the very least, the what is it? The not software. Yeah, there's like Shutterfly, and there's another one. I almost joined those things because it's a really high price tag for to get royalty free images. That way I can make my own tarot deck too. Not for sale, but just for making them out of images that you just find free, royalty free stock photos. But one of these things I think it was $360 for you to join. Something like that. But there's a download limit. And although you only technically need 78 images, I don't want to pay $300 for nothing, and there's a limit. Not only is there a download limit, but say for instance, you go to download a photo, it may not be even available for your subscription. For your membership, might not be able to download this photo. And because I read the little facts and about page and all that. So how do you download it? You got to buy something extra called credits. I'm like, okay, no. Now it sounds like a ripoff. Because you're probably going through, I can download a whole bunch of photos, and I'll run into the situation where the one I want is the one I can't get unless I buy credits. So yeah, I'm still searching for that. So that's my update. That's where I am. Been trying to work on that. Yes, it is. And I'm glad I read it. Because that's a lot of money all at once. So I wanted to be clear on what I was getting. Because mind you, it's not even like I'm trying to sell them or anything like that, to the point to where I don't technically need royalty-free images, but at the same time, I don't want a copywritten image on something I created, because now at any point somebody can lay claim to it. So it's just best to go royalty free, because YouTube especially is very finicky. Actually, no, they're not. They're very straightforward. If you use music, especially, or some sort of audio track where there's music or anything else that somebody has the rights to, they won't take your video down all the time. Sometimes what they will do, I know at least in terms of the gamers, what they will do is leave your video up, but any of the money that you make from that video goes to whoever owns that copyright. And that's what they do. So they take your whole thing. Now they have the actual right to take the video down, but they usually just leave it up. Because it's not like you're playing a whole concert in your video. Even 5 seconds of somebody else's song can get your video flagged. So there's that. Oh, good Lord. See, I mean, you have the right to charge whatever you want to for your photos, because they are yours. But here's what I don't want to do. This is why me getting my own deck from an artist, like someone drawing my images, might be a little difficult, because what I don't want is for me to pay you $100 to $200 per image, which means at the least this deck is already going to cost $8,000 because it's 78 images. And then you are leasing the images to me, which means every year or every 2 years, every 3 years, every whatever, and whatever interval you indicate, I have to release these images from you. So then what happens if I don't release them? Now I have to stop selling the deck, and then what happens to the ones that are already there? And like, the whole thing just sounds ridiculous. So no, I'm not leasing images. Either you're gonna give them to me, charge me for that. Like, if you want to charge me extra for releasing your image, then okay. Like, you can have it, it's yours now. Then give me that price tag. But I'm not doing no lease for your images. And that's not even uncommon. It's just not something I'm doing. Oh, that's pretty. They got a rock garden. Or at least rocks in the garden. So I can't. Literally can't. But there is one though, I think, royalty-free images that you don't have to pay to use those. The problem is they don't have a whole lot of images because they have a sponsor site, and the sponsor site is where they claim they have millions upon millions of royalty-free stock photos to choose from for our low, low price of your soul and two of your kids and all this type of stuff. So we'll have to see about that. Good morning. Copyright, and because I looked it up, copyright, I believe, is like images, something non-tangible. Like my symbol is copywritten. And then trademark, I think, is like audios and slogans and logos and slogans or something like that. I forget completely. I thought I remembered, but I don't think. And patents are on physical things. Like, you have a patent on the light bulb or whatever. Because I was actually, a long time ago, I watched John Oliver's Last Week Tonight thing when he did a deep dive into patent trolls, to where you can have a patent on the light bulb, for instance, and then somebody could have a patent on the filament inside. And so you're selling that light bulb, and it's fine because you have a patent on the light bulb, it's yours. But if somebody wanted to, they could sue you for tons of money because your light bulb is using their filament. Your light bulb is using a component that they have a patent to. Now, it doesn't happen almost ever, but it can, because that's what a patent troll does. Is, oh, you're using that printer? Well, deep down inside that printer is something I have the patent to, so I want a portion of your sales. So that's what I don't want. And if I was to ever make a tarot deck and put it out there to the world, then it needs to be mine, from the first card to the last card. And I don't need to share proceeds. Like, I pay you for your part in creating it, and then that's it. Like, we're done. I ain't sending you no check every 2 days type of thing. Good morning. I can barely see. The sun is sitting on the phone, no matter where I put it. Good morning, Adrian. The highlight here. So that's that. I mentioned you earlier. Oh, thank you. Lapis lazuli. I mentioned you earlier because I finally, well, not finally, but I narrowed down the words for my oracle deck. And I narrowed it down to 30, 32. And then I'm like, well, I don't really, because I was a little fixated on 30, and I think 32 was inevitable. It was probably going to happen anyway, because 3 and 2 makes 5, and 5 is my life path number. And then 32 is, oh, I forget, it has something to do with messages in numerology too. And so I'm like, okay, so it more than likely was supposed to be 32. Because when I get to the end of me narrowing down the words, there were 2 words I wanted to use, but I couldn't seem to fit them in to the rest of the words, or I couldn't fit them in to another category. I'm like, well, they have to be their own words. But if they're their own words, noise struck. If they're their own words, then I'm going to have more than 30 cards. And then so 32 happens. So there you go. But it's working out. Now I just have to figure out how to create them. But that's not an insurmountable thing. The hardest part was the narrowing down. The rest of it is just going to be a technical thing. Like, where do I get this and where do I get that and blah, blah, blah. And so, something I always preach, use your resources. So I will be emailing and reaching out and all these different types of things to people who have either done it before, or they operate some of these royalty-free images sites and all that type of thing. So it's in motion. It's in the way. There is wait, noise struck. UPS, not UPS, Amazon when they deliver something to your house, they take a picture of it, at least in this area. They didn't do that for us in Florida, but in this area, they take a picture of it when they leave it outside your front door. It was a man, one of the drivers, who told me he's supposed to do that. Because when my crock pots came, they were big giant boxes, and so I took one in, that way he can put the other one where it was supposed to be. And he was like, we're supposed to take a picture of it, but if you just give me your first name, last name, then we're all good. And so, I'm like, okay. And the last time, my brother ordered a book from Amazon. It was supposed to arrive Sunday. And I was doing some readings that day. I was supposed to be delivered between 1:45 and 3:45 is what it said. And every time I looked at it, it said he's 6 stops away. I'm like, okay. At 1:45 to 3:45, he was 6 stops away. And I'm going to say it again because that's important to the story. At 1:45 to 3:45, that little time interval there, he was 6 stops away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stops away. I'm doing my readings at 5:30, and he still ain't there. So I go down the street to get something to stuff in my face. And as I'm walking back up the street, I see one of their vans going down the street. Now we're at 6 o'clock. And I get to the house. The package says it was delivered per instructions. I don't have any instructions. I don't even have one of those leave at the door things, because that's where you leave a person's package. Anyway, so I don't need to sign for this. It's a book, for God's sake. It's not the Holy Grail, and it's not the original Bible or nothing. It's a book. And so it said delivered per instructions. Now, naturally, since there's no picture, and it's now 6 o'clock, 6:30-ish, I look out there, there's nothing there. And so I go on every other order that I have in there. There's a picture for everything. You look at his, no picture. He said he delivered it per instructions. I'm like, I think I know what happened here. You are at the end of the day, and you just didn't deliver it. Because mind you, when I was going up the hill and that truck was coming down the hill, he was going like 2 miles an hour. So I don't know if he's new, if he's lost, if he's what. But I can guarantee you, he didn't deliver no package. Because there was no picture, and I have no instructions on where to leave a package. I'm like, okay. And it wasn't on the neighbor's porch or nothing like that. So it's not like he even delivered it just to the wrong place. It's still on your truck. So then you contact Amazon. And I get the little automated service thing, which is about as useful as a condom to the Pope. And so you have to wait 2 days before you do anything. And I'm like, okay. So you came at the very least, contact the driver and say, hey girl, hey, where's this package that you just say you delivered that ain't there? Because that's what happened with UPS. Brought my tarot screen that I use. It was sent to a house down the street because one of the numbers wasn't flipped, but she saw it differently, rushing, and you know how dyslexia do. They decide when they want to show up. So then it says you have to wait until the end of day Monday which means Tuesday. Because the end of day is the end of business day, so you have to wait till Tuesday morning. So now there's a replacement coming in and should be here tomorrow. I'm like, oh good Lord. But that's my misadventures. I'm glad I left Florida too. It's snowing all. I mean, okay. Because I would not be doing a walk today if it was snowing. But I kind of want to see it one more time. So I'll send this to you. You send that to me. Just for a few hours, I think. Because I was going to go walking yesterday and then I didn't. Because I said when I started the stream, everybody goes live in the middle of the day. And that's usually when, like, now I'm up and about and motivated to actually do things. Now, here's the thing, too. I did leave the house, but what I should do is, well, no, that's not what I should do. I should do what I want to do. But it has now become second nature. Where are y'all going? Goodness gracious. It's a car parade. It has now become second nature when I walk outside for the purposes of this walk. I got to turn the live stream on. And so, since yesterday, when I was going to go walking, it was 11 something. I forget what time exactly, but it was around 11 something. And I'm like, oh, well, Lori will be live in like 20 minutes. So, never mind. But what I used to do is just put on the music and just, hit the road. I like Pittsburgh. I like it now anyway. Like I said, I've never been here in the summer. The people of Pittsburgh can use a little work, but you can find, I mean, you can find nice people anywhere. But it seems that at least in the South, you find more of them per square inch than you do here particularly. Nobody holds the door, nobody says hi, nobody gives you the nod. No, it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with y'all? Or they stare at you like you're some sort of foreign object. Now, I'm a little, okay, I could be a little something different to look at, I understand, because especially when I'm walking down the street with a big crystal on my neck and a walking stick in my hand, I look like a wizard. Okay, fine. You can stare because, why wouldn't you? There's a wizard walking down the street. But if you're going to stare, at least say hi, sucker. Something. I mean, don't just look. Gawk, actually. There's a woman yesterday in the UPS store. I'm standing in one line, she's standing in the other. She's staring a hole in my face. And I didn't have my walking stick then. I did the last time I was in there, and I had the big giant angel light on at the same time, so I looked, extra wizardy. But she's just gazing. She's not even like where she's looking and then look away and then look and then look away. No, she's staring a hole in my face. And I'm like, if you don't stop looking at me, like, say hi. Buy a cat, dog, something. I need you to say something other than just looking in my face. Nobody's southern here. I'd have got a hi, I'd have got a, hey, where'd you get that? Or hey, I like that, or whatever. Nothing. I got nothing. Walking down the street, one person spoke to me since I've been living here. Two people since I've been living here. I got a hi, how you doing from some couple. Well, I got the man said hi anyway. And then another lady who lives close to me who said, oh, you look like you lose weight. I see you walking to the, you know, that whole thing. And that's it. You walk past people, they look like they escaped from somewhere and they don't want you to recognize them. That's the kind of energy they have. I'm like, okay. It's very pretty. Well, at least I think so. At least the area that of Pittsburgh I'm in anyway. The cashier is very nice. Well, at least the two that I deal with all the time is very nice. There's one that you avoid because she's there because they pay her, but the other ones actually have customer service skills. And it's so interesting that like the nicest one at the store I frequent the most is the most efficient, as in you get everything that you're supposed to get from a customer service representative. She's friendly, she backs your stuff appropriately, she pays attention to you even if other people are talking to her, so forth, so forth. Sidebar. Okay, I have to interrupt myself. I was working when I was in Texas. Oh, good Lord, a big giant. Where'd this fall from? Look at that gigantic log. Get it out the street at least. So I was working in Texas, and this lady is asking me something because she's the next one that I'm dealing with. And the lady behind her started asking her, you know those bags they have for produce? They're like reusable and you can use them for your produce. So she's like, do you know where I can get? And then that lady that I was dealing with, she turned real fast. Excuse me, he's dealing with me first. I'm like, oh damn, she better slap you. You better. She said, okay, sorry. So there was that. I would just have to tell y'all that story. But this lady that I deal with at the store, she's efficient. She does everything. She hits all the marks. I think she's like one of the managers too. So, shift leader or something. So she hits all the marks, right? The one who's like the quickest, she'll get you in, get you out. But she ain't gonna say hi, bye, cat, dog, nothing. But she gonna get you in and out. There's another one. You know people who it can be the brightest, most beautiful day like this, no clouds in the sky, prettiest marble blue you ever seen. And they'll walk outside and complain about something. Oh, the birds are too loud. Oh, the sun is too bright. I lost my sunglasses. Something is always wrong in their life, and they want to tell everybody. Nothing is ever right. Nothing's ever nice. The day is never beautiful. It's always something wrong. I can't with the complainers. And so that's what this other lady is. She's the one where something is always wrong in her little taste of life. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna avoid you. Because what I really can't stand, here's my complaint, is when I'm the customer and I'm checking out, but you talking to somebody that ain't me. Like that woman who said, excuse me, he's dealing with me right now. I can't. Like, don't, if I'm here, talk to me. The person you work with, you're gonna be standing with them for 8 hours. One of the rules in that, one of the rules of retail, period, should be when you have a customer in front of you, your personal conversation stop. Pick it up when they leave, because it's not like they're going to be there for 8 hours. So whatever you're trying to say, you will have the opportunity to say when they leave. But when they are handing you money in exchange for something, pay attention to that. Pay attention to them, I say. That's what I had to do in my years of training people too. When they walk up, say hi, how are you? Now, when you are new, I've always told them this too. This is not a rule. Um, it's actually opposite of the rule. This was my own personal advice to them is when you are new, don't ask them if they found everything okay because you may not know where everything is. And so when you say, hey, did you find everything okay? No, I was looking for grape jelly. Where is it? And the next thing comes out of your mouth is, I'm not sure. And though you can ask somebody, they can ask somebody too. So it's not the most helpful thing in the world. Now you have to stop what you're doing to go find out where it is. So just ask them, hi, how are you? Because that's general. And then pay attention to them until they leave. That's what you do. Don't start talking to other people and carrying on a conversation you was having with whatever cashier or whatever worker or whatever whoever. That has to stop the moment the paying person walks up. They're the income, you're the outgo, so you need to talk to the income. You say that in a nice way, though. Yes, and because words matter. And so when you get up every day and all you do is complain, that's not to say you can't complain. I mean, by all means complain because maybe the person you're talking to has a solution. So, but if that's all you do, then you need to work on that. Yes, because it's every person I've ever trained. Stop your personal conversation and talk to the person in front of you. Tell them thank you, have a nice day. Tell them thank you, have a nice day. Don't just say have a nice day. Or if they say thank you, say you're welcome and all this. No, no. You are the one to issue the thanks. Because they can get, cotton balls and fingernail polish remover from anywhere. They didn't have to come get it from you. So there you go. It doesn't, I mean, it does. It kind of helps because when I started, the store I worked in Florida, we had a remodel while I was there and we had a map. The best thing to do, quite honestly, is to just walk the store. That's the best thing to do. And most stores have a general layout. The cereal and the Pop Tarts on the same aisle. We're talking breakfast food. So if it's breakfast food, the granola is also there and, things like that. So it's not unheard of to find granola and cereal on the same aisle, and Pop Tarts on the same aisle, and the apples are more than likely with the oranges, and that type of thing. So if you can get the general area, then you'll know at least what it is you're looking at and how to direct a person to go in a certain direction. Now, a map can sort of help if you can get the layout of the store and learn how to read it. Because a map of the store, or maybe they should simplify the map, let's say it that way. Because the map we had after our remodel, it said B16, which means B is the aisle, but it's not numbered B in the store. You have to memorize which one is B. It'll say B1, so it'll be the first B, and then there's a break in the middle of the store, and then the second row is B2. And then B1, 6, which means on B1, item 6. And then item 6 also has a shelf number. They need to simplify that part, and then maybe it'll go a little easier, but it's not the most simplest thing in the world. I mean, if you know what you're looking at, then it is, but it can be a little challenging for somebody new, especially somebody who's never worked in that in particular area or field before. But the best thing to do is just to walk the store, walk up and down, see where things are, and know that generally most things are in the same place. Where they tend to throw you is the classification. Like beans are not with most vegetables. Some they are, like you can get kidney beans, or you can get red beans or something like that with the rest of the canned vegetables. But you can't get refried beans there because that's considered an ethnic food, and so it's with salsa and the tortillas that come in a package. And so that's tricky sometimes. So that's why I just say, just when a person comes up, how are you? Leave it at that. Unless you shop here all the time and you know where everything is. So there's that. Where are all the birds at today? There's the one noisy one. I always wanted to work. I always wanted to work in a record store. I remember records. I remember music stores. I don't know if it's a good thing to want to go back or not, though, but I do like that in my hand I hold 1,400 songs because that's how many is in my telephone. And that's a lot easier than holding 1,400 CDs or cassette tapes or vinyls or 8 tracks. We had 8 track too. So it's a little easier to hold a digital. But still, I think a book is something that they should never replace, even though it's probably more environmentally sound to not use so much paper. But I don't know. There's some things I don't want to look at on my telephone. I don't want to look at on the screen. And I know that, people like me are a dying breed and everything will be on the screen eventually. But there is still, I think, a desire, a need for the physical copy of something. Not to mention, technology is very finicky. Solar flare shoots from the sun, knocks out your telecommunications, and now for the next 8 hours or the next 8 days, your technologies don't work. Or there's an outage, there's a storm, there's a strong wind blowing, whatever the case may be. Next thing you know, you are at a standstill because your stuff doesn't work. I'm like, okay. I'm trying to read this for my school project and the internet's out. Meanwhile, libraries. Go down there, get the book, and read it. So it's nice to have a physical copy of something. I love the record store. I like to go in, and the one that was close to my house, what was it, FYE? I think it was. Blockbuster Music died so quickly. Like it came to Oklahoma and it seemed like it was gone just as soon as it got there. But FYE was where it was. They beat the illustrious Blockbuster Music because FYE felt like a legitimate record store. Blockbuster Music felt like a copycat because it was. Because Blockbuster didn't specialize in music. They specialize in overpriced rentals. And so you go there. Is that the mailman? Yeah, it is. He's so useless, Lord Jesus, I have to say it. So you go in there and you can do like samples of a song. They had like little earphones, and I loved that whole store from front door to back door. It was everything. I liked everything in there. You know, I even walked there one time because it was across the street from the house, and I found an old CD in the grass, just in the grass. It didn't have a case on it or nothing. It was just a CD flipped up. That's how I seen it because it was shiny. And I'm like, okay, free CD. I still have that too, I think. No, I don't. I gave all my CDs to my niece a long time ago. I got all the songs from it though because I just ripped them to the computer. But I loved that store. I wanted to go either there or, Becca said this too. She said, why don't you ever go and work for Bath and Body Works? And I'm like, you know what? I've never, ever seen a man work at Bath and Body Works. I've seen a man work at Victoria's Secrets, but I've never seen a man work at Bath and Body Works. So fast forward to moving to Pittsburgh. There's an outlet mall like 650,000 miles away from here. But there's an outlet mall. You go out there, there's a Bath and Body Works. There are 4 men working in that store at the same time. I'm like, and this, mind you, when we were having that conversation, it was the next day. Like, no kidding, it was the next day. We went out to the outlet mall, and there was 4 working in there. I'm like, those are the kind of places, though, where I don't have no business working, because I would basically be working for free. I probably would never leave out of there with a paycheck. Everybody in the neighborhood, oh, that guy's got the hand soaps and the candles and the it would be, especially if you get a discount too. Chaplain, it would be something else. I've never seen one, except, when I moved here and I seen 4 in the same store. I'm like, okay, this is where all of y'all are then. But I see like men in Victoria's Secret all the time. I've never seen one in Bath and Body Works. I haven't been in one in a while either. Mind you, in Florida, the access was a lot easier because the store was like maybe 3 miles away, 3 or 4, something like that. Here it is literally in a whole nother town. Boy, that's how it feels anyway. Because you have to drive forever to get to it. But not that you get to it specifically, it's just, it's in an outlet. Good morning, Joanne. Here, everywhere I work is also where I shopped. A little bit too much. The only time I work somewhere and didn't constantly buy something is when I worked for AT&T and the mortgage company. That's because I couldn't buy houses every 2 weeks, and I wasn't interested in telephones actually at all. The whole time I worked there, I had the same phone. I want a new one now, but it's more of a want instead of a need. I got this telephone because it seemed fancy at the time. Because that's what, advertising is supposed to do, to make you think you got something special. And what this phone is supposed to be capable of is there are 2 apps in your phone, I believe 2, that you can manipulate without touching the screen. And I'm like, oh, that's neat. When would I ever use that? I don't know. But I figured it was neat. And it's kind of like, okay, the usefulness of it is if you got dirty hands, if you got like paint on your hands or flour or whatever, then you can manipulate your phone without touching the screen. And so I'm like, okay, let me get this phone. And while that does work, it's not, it ain't something I use. Because what you're supposed to do is like you hold your hand above the screen and then you do this, like this motion. And then you can do this. You go left to right. And whatever you program is what it will open. So your email, your songs, or whatever. And it does work. Now, a drawback to it though is it also has like a face recognition thing to where when you're looking at the phone, it activates. And if you're like me and you talk with your hands and you put your hand in front of the screen, you just move something. I'm like, Lord. So if you're listening to a song or watching a video on YouTube and you swipe your hand, it changed your whole screen. So that was the drawback. But that just goes to show you where we're moving to where eventually, well, it's kind of like that now though, isn't it? You don't have to touch the phone. You talk to Siri and Alexa, and then she does everything. So I guess that's where we're headed. That's where we are. To where you don't even have to touch the phone anymore. Just talk to it. I remember back in the day, before everybody had earpieces, you could use, and you still can, you can use a regular set of earbuds for your microphone. And I would have it looks like, you know, you're listening to music or whatever. So you put your earbuds in and you walk around having a conversation because you're actually on a telephone call. I mean, I was walking around the mall like this, and I mean, everybody just stopped, stared, elbowed the person next to him, look at this, because I look like I'm just walking around talking. And this is, like I say, before people started using their earphones and so forth and so forth. Back before the 2000s even rolled into the 10s. This was a long time ago. Like '08, something like that. Hi, Tony. We were talking, congratulations. Somebody reached 549 subscribers or something like that, I heard. A little shining hawk told me. So it goes up from here, madam. Yeah, I look like a crazy person talking to myself. Which, I mean, I don't mind. Sometimes you got to talk to yourself because sometimes you're the only person that understands. And so, there you go. God's listening, and I'm sure he's intrigued. As long as he ain't watching Matlock. You know, when your program come on and somebody talking to you at the same time, and then you kind of kick into auto response. Like, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, uh-huh. Okay, sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, uh-huh, that's funny. It's like, you ain't heard nothing I said. My father and my sister, since they're two peas in a pod, they do that. You say something to them, you can tell when they stop listening. Because they just, uh-huh, uh-huh. Not even yes and no. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Oh, really? Uh-huh. Like, are you, because you can literally say anything. And I've done this before because I know when they stop listening. And I'm saying, yeah, I'm going to go see if I can find these lizards and stick them in my pocket. Oh, okay. It's like, you didn't hear nothing I just said. Because at that point, all they really listen for is bye. If you say bye, then they're good. But they don't hear nothing else. Yes, thinking out loud, that's what it is. Sometimes you need to. That way it can fly out and become a thing. If you leave it in your head, ain't no telling what's going to happen. Get lost in thought. Thank you, lucky girl. It's auto response. When something is on that I'm trying to look at, I'm going to say something that way you don't think I'm ignoring you. But at the same time, it would be nice if you were in tuned or prescient enough to understand that at this moment, you're not a bother, but you're bothering me. You're not a bother, you're not a burden or anything, but I'm kind of busy at the moment. And I don't want to be rude because there's no need for that, but I just want you to shh a little bit. Just stop talking a lot. You know, that's all. So that I can focus on what I'm doing. Or just not focus on you so much. Because you're kind of taking me out of my thing here. Especially if it's like a TV show, not necessarily documentary or something, even though that's still something that captures your attention. But when it's script based, when it's fictional, I need to catch things. I need to hear the plots. I need to hear the information. What I don't need is to miss certain things because if this is not on a DVR or some sort of streaming services, I can't rewind this. So I need you to shh just a little bit and stop talking a lot. That's what I need you to do. Because it's very important. It's like, wait a minute. They come to the one part I've been waiting for, and now you want to tell me about how one of your socks is missing. And where do you think they always go? I don't know. Shh, hush. Buy some more. You want me to knit you a sock? I'll knit it after this, but right now be quiet. Because it ain't even like you telling me something important, like, the back porch is on fire. No. We're going to talk about missing socks and carrying on. So I get it. Auto response. Yes. Lapis lazuli. It calmed me this morning. It's like my crystals have life now. Like I say before, I just buy them for jewelry purposes. But when I got that selenite, I think I cleaned them all because they all have life now. Because, well, this morning I was not in a bad space, but how do I say? I could have been in a better space, mentally speaking. Therefore, this helped. And it reminded me to do your prayer, your meditation, because it's important before you get amongst some people and start trading energies and all that type of thing, to just say a little something. Protect your energy. Realign your focus. Get your energetic body in harmony. So forth and so forth. So that's that's when it's, that's why it's my Gemini stone, I guess. Probably why I chose it this morning. Yes, you kind of have to. If you're going to be around some people, protect your energy, whatever you got to do. And so it kicked in today. Yes, correctly and effectively communicate. Because when I left the house, in my mind was a bunch of negative thoughts. And they weren't negative as in horrible, but negativity is toxic and it's damaging to the vessel. Me being the vessel, it's damaging to me. Because the thing that I would then do is turn on the live stream and complain for 45 minutes. And then that makes y'all feel some kind of way, even if you don't realize it. And then it ripples. But when some of you, especially the empathic ones, you see the sun shining, you can hear a little breeze. Sometimes that's annoying because the way the microphone picks it up, but you see the sun shining, you hear the birds, lighthearted conversation. We don't need to talk about the philosophies of life, but lighthearted conversation. And then it, makes you feel at least a smidget bit better. And maybe you don't know why. Because words matter and energy is real. It's energy to me, is a living, breathing, thinking thing. Even though it doesn't think and breathe, but you get what I'm saying. It can jump from one person to another. It's just as contagious as the flu. It can be bad, it can be good. I spoke the wind up, didn't I? All right. That was telling me to let it breathe. That's what. Noisy truck, high wind. Exactly. And gotta, and mind you, like I said, it wasn't like a horrible thought or horrible energy or nothing like that. The intentions I had were good at start. You know, go out and walk with the family type thing. But every thought that came up was something that didn't have anything to do with what I was trying to do. And I could tell, I looked down actually, and this is how it happened. I looked down and then this started like flickering in the sunlight. And I'm like, okay, ground yourself, center, chakras in harmony. You know, I did my prayer. What I do is I pray, I ask God, Source Spirit, whatever you want to call it, I ask God to forgive me of my trespasses against him and other people, because sometimes you hurt people and you don't know it, and then they'll never tell you. And to charge my light, since we are light beings, charge my light, cleanse my energy, and charge my chakras, and bring them into harmony. And then that's what I do before I do my readings. And that's what I had to do this morning, because something else was trying to kick in that probably would have put me in a snappy mood, in a snarky mood, or whatever the case may be. It would have put me in a mood that was not my original intent. And so I looked down and it went sparkle, sparkle, and I'm like, you know what, let's take care of this right now. Before you turn the camera on and start exchanging energy with tens of peoples, then what you need to do is get yourself together. Because it's not that I am in charge of your energy, but I have a personal responsibility that I give myself, not to be a person that walks in the room and their presence is dreaded. It's like, oh God, here comes the energy vampire. Or here comes the person that complains all the time, or, you know, no. It's nice when people are happy to see you. And so that's what I had to work on this morning. And it worked. It always works. It's never failed, so and it never will. Never say never, but you can say never on that one. It has never failed and it never will. Energy is a thing. Now there is a, oh Lord have mercy, there's a crystal store here. One day I'm gonna go. Now there is that this same crystal store has a store on Etsy too. It's here in Pittsburgh, but it's not close enough for me to walk to, I don't believe. I actually don't even know exactly where it is, because you know me, I'm not MapQuest. MapQuest or Red McNally, so I can't tell you where it is or where to go. You follow my directions, you will be in the middle of Afghan desert somewhere. So they have everything. I'm like, oh gosh. So when I told Becca this too, I said, when I move, I'm gonna get me a big shelf. I don't want it now because I don't want to have to put it up and take it down and pack it and all this type of stuff. Because I mean, we only got 2-3 months to be here. So I said, I'm gonna get me a big shelf and just fill it full of rocks. I did not, I will say, want loose rocks just around the house. But energetically speaking, it's a good thing to have. Because like I say, I think my selenite is a good charging crystal. It's a good cleansing crystal. Because I also got a little selenite bowl. And I want big pieces though, that I can see from across the room type thing. I just recently, like a week or 2 weeks ago, bought selenite. And the selenite is what made me now want a bunch of rocks. So next time on the adventures of TarotsApprentice, I will be buying some rocks, some crystals, and a little display to put them on. There's a stop sign lady. Not suggestion sign. I like rocks. I like them now. Because my thing is this. I like to wear them. Because they're shiny and pretty. But I didn't want just loose rocks around the house. Like I'm some sort of gravel park, but now I do. People change. Sometimes you just need to be introduced to new things, that's all. I need to learn. No, I don't. You know what? No, I don't. Because I need to learn how to wrap the stones myself. No, I don't. There's people who do this. And you support their business by patronizing them. So there you go. There's a lady in Savannah, Georgia. She wrapped this. And I see no reason why she can't just wrap the rest of it. She like doing it. It's her business. I'm gonna let her do it. It's not my thing. I'm not arts and crafts. I do kind of wish that I was though, because it's nice. Well, actually, you know what? Everybody is arts and craftsy. I think what happens a lot of times is we compare our idea of what we want to do with what somebody else can do. And so then we say, I can't draw. Well, you can't draw like them. Well, you can draw. And your idea of what's pretty and acceptable is what's actually holding you back. But try it. Do some loop-de-loops and just color it in. See what see what it looks like. You don't have to draw the Rocky Mountains or nothing, but you know, try that too. Take a pen, up, down, there you go, mountains. Color it in. A+. There you go. Yeah, I can't turn down the wind. You know that's what it was. That's what it was. And this is not. Don't take this personally. This is just what my thoughts were this morning. Is I realized from the last live stream I did have this new trigger words, or trigger phrases, or trigger whatever the case may be. I get triggered by this in particular thing. And one is you shuffle too loud, and the other one is I can't hear you. And now, mind you, I can't hear you is not a criticism. It's fact. I can't hear you. So it's not like somebody's attacking you with I can't hear. They're telling you I can't hear. And so it is at this point, like I say, a trigger, because when I first started this channel, that's all I got is, oh, I can't hear. Oh, I can't see. Oh, can you move it this way? Oh, can you put it over here? Oh, can you stack this on top of that? Hey, what about a landscape? And what about overhead camera? And what about all this stuff you want me to do? I ain't paying for. So if you can't hear me, buy me a microphone, which nobody ever did. So I bought my own microphone. So I tried and tried and tried. I did 1,000 miles back and forth to Best Buy, buying this, buying that, trying to fix a problem that I didn't have, but I wanted everybody else to be able to hear, and without earphones, because I understand a lot of people listen to it on the phone and so forth and so forth. And so that created a bit of a soul print to where, to where I get some sort of emotional trigger when I hear I can't hear. And I get it. And so that's the thing this morning, because I was thinking about that. Because I was doing, I recorded a whole bunch of other videos, and the thought crossed my mind to where I said, I'm going to redo them all because I didn't like the lighting. Because I was sitting in front of the window, and every time I'd go to like flip up the card and show it to the screen, the sun was shining extra bright. It was overcast, and so therefore it wasn't bright. And it didn't start that in and out of the clouds business until I started recording. And I'm like, oh, son of a mother. It's like everything was fine until I started recording, and the next thing you know, the sun was playing peekaboo. And so I'm like, okay, I don't really like none of these videos. So I think I'm going to delete them all and start over or something like that. So that's what started my negative thoughts. And then I went from that to the sound. The sound was fine, but then I was like, you know what, I get triggered by the I can't hear thing. And so that's what started all of my negative energy this morning. Which I had to promptly get thee behind me Satan this morning. Which is when I had to do that. So there you go. You know, they have I lost my train of thought. What was it saying? It doesn't matter. What's the name of what? But like I said, I understand. Oh, cardinals. I like red birds. Squirrel. It's like back then, I didn't want to be on camera then. I still don't care to. It's not a. I don't know. I've never been, and I get it though, because, energy and connection is a thing. But I've never been the person that needs to see you to feel connected to you or to feel connected to what you're saying. But I do get that a face behind the hands or a face behind the voice helps the visualization. It helps okay, I can connect more to what you're saying because, you look through the windows of the soul and now I can sort of understand a little more, or I can sort of sympathize or empathize or whatever thighs a little more. It helps the connection when you can see the person. But I've never been there to where I know increasing my brightness. I get it, telephone. Drain your battery faster. Why I can't see? So I get it. And you know what? Actually, I started the videos that I am probably going to delete. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put them up anyway. Who cares? But that's what I started to do, was do front face camera and do it this way. But I did it my usual way because I got like 4 new decks of cards and I wanted you to see the cards and so forth and so forth. But I think what I'm going to do probably tomorrow, because I got some free time tomorrow, is just redo them and do it like I was going to do it in the first place. This is why you should go with your first thought. Because mind you, I tried to, back in the day, like mix it up to where 1 month you do it not face down, but the camera down, the other one you do it with the face, and so forth. We'll see. It's not important though. Does Emeril Lagasse still have a cooking show? I miss his live event thing that he used to do back in the day. He was the most entertaining chef I have ever seen in my whole life. Oh, rerun. The reruns are still good. I need to YouTube him. That's what I need to do. Like, he literally had the greatest show there was. Nobody was doing it like that. He was fun. He was engaging. He's a natural at that type of thing, it feels like. I miss that show. Like he had another little like in the kitchen with him type thing to where there was no audience. I don't know. It was fine, but it's better when he was in that open space and had all that high octane energy in it. I loved that show. It was literally the best. Nobody does it like him. I'm not into what's that other child? Gordon Ramsay. Not into that kind of thing. Like, I get him because I've seen a couple of interviews and I've seen him on the funny shows like the Jimmy Fallons and all that. But all that yelling and cussing at people? No. TV or not, they'd never find you again. No. But I get it. He's trying to help you fix your atrocities. But Lord, it's like Simon Cowell. Like he was the reason a lot of people watched American Idol, but that, hi Greeter, but that insults for no reason, I don't know. That's just that's just not my kind of TV. Me either. Like I don't really care for like a like a potty mouth is one thing to just randomly curse. That's different. But when you direct it at somebody, then it takes on an energy. And then that energy that you throw at them that's now negative, harmful, or meant to be a combination of both is now then hard to watch. Because one part of me is saying, don't treat people like that. Another part of me is saying, well, it's a TV show. This is what they meant to do. Everybody signed up for this. You know, they knew what they were in for. They've obviously seen this show before. And then there's another part of me to say, if you don't hit him in his mouth, but violence beget violence, so we don't want to do that. But Lord, like how can you be so, I don't know. Anger is a thing. I get. But no thank you. Like I can't watch it. I just because I almost feel embarrassed for them people. Like he just, and mind you, I've only seen clips. I've never ever, and mind you, I've never even seen clips, like a whole 2 minute clip. I've seen like little montages of him cursing at people through like the little small blurbs of advertisement. But chefs don't act like that. My mother was a chef. She ain't ever cussed nobody out in no kitchen. Because he's not the chef, he's the teacher. Like he's trying to teach you how not to continue to do what it is you're doing. Now his method of teaching is just not something I can watch. Because he sounds toxic to me. And if you teaching me how to cook, you got one time to cuss at me, and I'm gonna stab you in your eye with this knife. That's what I'm gonna do. Because what is the point of berating? Like, no. You don't have to put me down to lift me up. You can just lift me up. Try that part first, maybe. Correction is not always harsh. Or at the very least, it does not have to be. As many people as I've trained, I've never in my life yelled at a person for continuing to do the same wrong thing. You just tell them, hey, it doesn't look like you're getting it, so we're going to do something else. Oh, all the blooms are coming out. I wonder if a person did this or did nature do this? How these big falling limbs have crap wrapped around it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you ain't gonna yell at me, homeboy. You know, I started to, because it's a little ways up. I was on it earlier today. There's a little bench that I've done readings on before, but again, there is gardeners or something out and about, I guess changing everything over with these buildings up here from the winter to the spring. And so I sit, phone was like this, I'm talking, and you swear Godzilla was standing behind me. I'm like, they can't do what they need to do because they busy looking at me. Lord Jesus. I guess I'm a star and I don't know it. That's what it is. Because what are you looking at, child? Goodness. I understand looking, but staring is a whole nother thing. I'm a whole lot to look at, I guess. Peach crumb pie and cinnamon ice cream. Lord Jesus. Ooh. You know, not to introduce vegetables into the conversation, but I went to the store yesterday to get lettuce and walked out of the store with coffee creamer. Oh, Jesus, the scatterbrained mind of a Gemini. The sad part about all of that is the vegetables are the first thing you see when you walk in the store. I'm like, oh, let me go get some lettuce. I want a salad. Let's go get a lettuce. I went to the store, walked in, and so, oh, let me get a coffee creamer. A coffee creamer is literally on the other side of the store. So I went to get the coffee creamer, and that's it. Got coffee creamer and walked by the sour cream and was like, oh, look, sour cream. You know what goes good with sour cream? Doritos. So I went to the Doritos. And then I got habanero Tostito rounds. And that's what I got. And then went to the UPS store, got the altar, and no lettuce. Not a stitch of lettuce. Nowhere to be seen. And I do at times have a list, but you have to remember the list. And what I've started to do is write the list and then throw it in the bag because I have a reusable bag that I take to the store with me. And so I put it in there. That is how I'm remembering now. But what's what I had for dinner actually was oh, there's Curless girl. Oh Lord Jesus, she's so comfortable. I love it. Just you go right ahead. I let me hush. Focus on what I'm doing. And then I lost my train of thought. I can't even think. I just oh Lord, I mean that's mean. Anyway, yes they do. Um, yes, they do. It's on purpose. But mind you, the usual is you put the milk in the bread and the eggs at the back of the store. That way you have to run past everything because those are the convenience items. Those are the items that people run out of the most. So you put them at the back of the store. Like when I worked for Hallmark, the greeting cards are at the back of the store. It's a greeting card store. So why are they not at the front? Because they want you to walk past all this other stuff first. But we did need creamer, and I did get it, so glory be, happy day. But I wanted lettuce, and I still want it, but I don't have it, and I ain't going to no store. So now I have to go without. You know what? I should have bought two when it was on my mind to do so in the first place. Because that's when I was making all my junky salads. Because I got the pickles and I still need to go get the right kind of pickles. Because I was using the Instacart and I picked the wrong things. I got two jars, two different size jars of sour pickles when I wanted one sweet and one sour. And then all the other crap I was going to throw in there. So I need to go anyway. Bye, Pamela. So I need to go anyway. Because I need the right kind of pickles. Wonder if I can exchange those that I do have. I don't have a paper receipt. All I got is the Instacart receipt. We'll see. I have tried that AP to type it in, and I don't. It's more convenient if it's on a piece of paper for me. Now it is odd because you would think it'd be more convenient on the phone, but it's not. Because I got the reusable bag in one hand, and then the other hand is shopping for whatever I'm shopping for. And I'm making this complicated, mind you, because there's nothing complicated about what you just said. But I got the bag in one hand, shopping with the other, and it's easier to have a piece of paper in my hand than the telephone. But like I said, I'm making it more complicated than it is because logic would state, put the bag down. But I don't. Because I don't like setting it down, picking it up, setting it down, picking it up. So I make things harder for myself. It's a pastime of mine. Flip. Huh? Now here's the problem with the grocery store here that I frequent a lot. The sales paper we get does not reflect the prices in their store. And they can get you with the fine print of participating locations. But you are literally down the street from my house. So why is it you don't have the same prices at your store that's in this sales ad? Don't send me this if it doesn't reflect you. Because I found that out. We went to go get, I think 12 packs is what it was. and they were supposed to be 3 for 11, something like that. You get there, they're 2 for 9 or 2 for something. I'm like, wait, that's not what the paper said. So the only reason I came down here, participate in locations. Well, then I need this location to participate because you're down the street. It doesn't make sense not to. So we'll see. The grocery store in Texas had an app with their sales paper in it. The dollar store even has one. This grocery store, or so-called grocery store, not so much. But we'll see. Because I need grapes too. That was the best salad in the world. Or I could have just been in the mood for such a thing. Now you get a taste for something, and then you finally eat it, and it's like, yes, this is what I wanted. That's where I'm at. Although, what I'm going to have today, I do not know. It was ravioli yesterday. I don't know about today. I don't even know what I want. No, I didn't have ravioli yesterday. I really had chips and sour cream yesterday. That's probably what it's going to be today, too. Good morning, Michelle. I have tried frozen grapes because somebody told me about it a long time ago. I did not care for that. I didn't like the texture that when you break it just is. I didn't like the texture. The texture bothered me something awful. We didn't like it taste any different or anything, but I couldn't get past the texture of it. It was just, I don't know. That's because it wasn't hard to where you can roll it around a little bit. It was like it wanted to be a hard surface, but everything was soft at the same time. I don't know. It just was a texture problem for me. I couldn't do it. Now, have you had cotton candy grapes? I finally gave in and I tried some. They're soft, so very, very soft. Not mushy soft, but they're not, you know how grapes have that little pop, you know, kind of like a cherry tomato almost. These don't have that. These are just soft. But I never wanted them because they were, of course, superly genetically modified, but they are actually really good. I got a little small bag. I'm like, okay, so if I don't like them, I don't feel that bad about throwing them away. But they were all right. Would I buy them again? Yeah, I would. It wouldn't be first choice, but I would. Oh, I don't know. I've never been on a weight loss journey, so I can't tell you. Every time I lose it, I realize I didn't lose it. It's just I put it in the refrigerator, that's all. I always find it. Have no idea. You should be walking. I should be recording a video, but it's not priority. Well, you never know how your body responds to things. Like me walking up and down these hills. Because my legs get used to it very fast, because they've always been the only toned thing I've ever had, because I walk everywhere. I can kick a house down, but now everything else is like, oh my God, I want to sit down. Because I've been walking for what, 2 hours and 7 minutes. Actually, a smidget longer than that. What is that, GM Dave? Because the popcorn sounds good right now, too. You know, I want a good caramel popcorn. I don't like Cracker Jacks. And there was another one I tried too, but it tastes like chemical. Probably whatever kind of coating they were using just tastes like garbage. So I didn't like that one. I need a good caramel popcorn. Oh no, it was one of these ones where the cheese and the caramel came in the same bag. It's in a white bag too. It was horrible. It tastes like just straight up chemical. Not popcorn, no resemblance of cheese, nothing. I never liked Cracker Jack because it doesn't have a caramel taste to it. It has a different kind of weird taste to me. It's like that red velvet effect to where I can taste the chemical in it instead of whatever it's supposed to be. Not very good. See, and mind you, that is the only thing, now that I think about it, because I always say I don't like sweet and salty together. They just don't go. That is actually the only thing I can eat sweet and salty. Is the pop. Well, I guess not really. I don't ever eat them together. They can just be in the same container, but I don't ever eat them together. They just still don't go together. I've never been a sweet and salty person. It's like or, not and. You know what though? When I was a kid, this is gonna sound gross, but back then it wasn't. And back then we all did it, so I don't know if I necessarily liked it or if I was just trying to be like the cool kids. But what we would do is get the big giant dill pickle. And then we put a Jolly Rancher in the middle of it after we took a bite off the top. And you eat the bite off the top. And then you put a Jolly Rancher down in the middle of it. And then you eat it with the sour and the sweet and the salt and the carrot on. That's what we would do. It was interesting. Lord knows what that would taste like to my old taste buds now. I mean, kids eat a little bit of anything. It is interesting though. The I don't know if it's maturing or just the aging of one's taste. Like when I was a kid, that is real different. That is real different. A Jolly Rancher in the pickle. I couldn't eat anything hot. And right now, I'm not necessarily, the chili pepper champion or nothing, because, I don't want to be in pain while I'm trying to eat at the same time. But I can stand it a lot more now than I could back then. And it wasn't that it was just a pain thing, like, kids shouldn't eat hot sauce. Because all my nieces, every single last one of them, loved hot stuff. All of them. And I was never that kid. But they can practically drink hot sauce. And I never liked fish, so that was never a thing. Never liked liver. But I can eat onions now. I could not when I was a kid. They were the worst things in the world. But, well, mind you, wait a minute. I still don't care for white onions. That's what it was. White onions are, the vegetable of Satan. They're just the strongest, most unnecessary thing in the world. Yellow onions is where it's at. Because the yellow ones are the ones you use for the cooking and the seasoning and so forth and so forth. Peppermint stick. I can do a jalapeno. I can't do a genuine habanero. You can flavor something habanero because it's still milder than an actual. See, I don't like white onions at all. They're way too potent for me. I'm a yellow onion person. I used to, instead of, and this was more along the lines of just liking junk food, I would never eat the onion in the onion ring. I just ate the outside. It's like, eat the whole thing. Yes, a jalapeno popper is the greatest invention. With cream cheese, I don't really care for them with cheddar cheese in it. Because cheddar cheese in big globs like that just tends to be a little salty for me. But there's ones in the grocery store. They're extremely expensive for the amount that you get. But they're made by TGI Fridays. And they're jalapeno poppers. And they come with this little raspberry dip. Oh, sweet Jesus. It's the best thing you ever want to put in your face. Now you would think, because I would think that sounds awful. But it wasn't. It was perfect, actually. So that's usually the ones I get. But it's like $4.99, $5, and you get like 8, which is a little much. Yeah, I like the cream cheese ones. There is Oh gosh. It was like a deep fried onion. But it was like the whole thing. I've never seen that before. It looked strange because it looked like a deflated balloon a little bit because it was very, I don't know, like you sucked the life out of it. It just looked strange. But that's what I see. I am starving to death. I haven't eaten all day. What time is it anyway? It's 11. I've been up forever, but I ain't ate nothing. No, it wasn't a blooming onion. It was like the whole thing. Like you just take a regular raw onion and I don't know if it was fried or if it was cooked some sort of way. It almost looked like they boiled it to death. I don't think it was fried. Now that I think about it, but you could still see the peel on the outside, but it just looked like you just drained the soul from it, though. I don't know. It was weird. It ain't something I was gonna eat, so I just seen a picture of it in um, a recipe app. And then kept it moving. You know, I've never had a bloomin' onion though, from the outhouse or the Texas Roadhouse. I figured it was not something I'd ever like because I'm not really an onion person, but I do. That was back in the day, but I do like them now. I don't know. Maybe age is changing me. Well, of course it is, but but my taste, and so maybe that's what it is. Oh, I wish I could grow things. Oh, really? I seen it. Didn't it just recently happen with the Texas Roadhouse guy? I don't know what I'm gonna have today because I'm not going to the store. It's so weird though. I've been walking for 2 hours and 19 minutes, but I won't walk to the store. I just don't feel like it. The store is a whole different thing. I don't feel like going, so I'll find something. More chips and sour cream, I suppose. Mm, that was something else. That's probably what they want to put in the public to save image or something of that nature. Got to give you something to, you know, keep you from thinking it was something worse. So, I'm gonna go now and go back home. Get ready for the rest of adult life. What time is it? I still got some time, an hour or two or so. Maybe I'll go re-record my videos the way I wanted to in the first place. Now that the sun is not playing peekaboo today with the clouds in and out, because I didn't like the production value of those videos. And so I'm going to do them over. Next week, not next week, this week. Well, we're in Tuesday. We're at the end. So Sunday is on my channel. Friday is on Adrian's channel. We're doing our horoscopes. And Shining Hawk Healing will be there with us as well. I'm going to try to do, I wonder, I'm going to try this one week to do a live stream every day and have like somebody different on each time. And then maybe do different topics like I did the last time. That was fun when I did the pop culture stream with Adrian and Shay, and then we did the not energy, but we did the non-political with Karen, Wilman, Jen, and Becca, and then Sunday we did our regular rolling in the dirt thing. Well, good, Dory. And maybe next week I'll do the same. I have to come up with topics and things though, so I know I don't want to adult today. I got to adult today by 1 o'clock. I need to go do adult stuff, not the fun adult stuff either. And so I'm gonna do some streams. I think next week, so I'll give myself some time to come up with. I enjoy the non-political too. I mean, I think Sunday and the occasional midday is enough for that kind of crap. I mean, Jesus, it's so to read on that all the time. But I just need to come up with some topics other than aliens. Me and aliens just have never. My cards don't pick up aliens, so I need something other than that. But I need at least 5 days of that though, because I can do it for five days straight and get some different readers and things to come on and read with me. Jazzy Girl, the lady Peggy Breen, who is in the chat usually on her Sunday streams, her daughter makes them because she has a business where she makes t-shirts and things. Now we have told her, yeah, we'll do Bigfoot. We have told her that she should sell the shirts. And so, I mean, it's not made by us, so I'd have no additional information, unfortunately. Like the Nasty Woman shirt, and I had good vibes. We were just leaving. But like the Nasty Woman shirt and the Jen Lynn Tarot shirts, she makes them. So I'm not 100% sure on how to get them out to anybody. So we'll see. We'll actually, maybe I'll email her. I do have her email address. And see what the latest is on that. And then I can hopefully get y'all some information on, if you want one, how to get one. Because Jen, I have my t-shirts from the Teespring, and Jen has got now a t-shirt, but now can't nobody get it. So I'm gonna see if there's a way to actually get the t-shirt. But anyway, I will see y'all Sunday for sure, if not beforehand. But I will see y'all Sunday for sure. Have a good day.